I was driving to meet a friend of mine in Trinity, California, from Tucson, Arizona. For any of you who have made that drive, or any drive similar, you will be familiar with the long, straight back roads that lead through virtually nothing but desert-like flats, nearly devoid of any and all scenery for miles at a time. These roads aren't the mainstream route, but they fill me with a sense of adventure. And I try to take a different, less beaten path every time I go visit my friend, 2 or 3 times a year. On one of these trips, I was about halfway through a semi-familiar back road. I haven't seen a car for miles, and it was somewhat comforting to know I was alone. I just like to think, and being alone helps me gather and reflect on my thoughts. I had been going through a lot of personal issues recently, so it was nice to just get away from it all. That's when I noticed how low on fuel I was. When I looked up, I was surprised to see a gas station dead ahead of me. As I approached the gas station, something just didn't feel right. Have you ever done something dangerous or stupid as a child, and that very moment before you did it felt deep in your core that you shouldn't? I felt that same feeling. I pulled over and just sat in my car for a second, about 20 yards away. I was parked for maybe 5 seconds. I didn't even turn off my car, and before I knew it, I was back on the road again. That eerie feeling was just too much to shake, and I knew that there was another gas station some 20 miles up the road. I just hoped I had enough gas to get there. As I was driving off, I looked at the gas station in my rearview. What I saw still gives me chills to this day. About 10 or 15 people were just standing outside the gas station. People that had not been there when I arrived, and were watching me drive away. I was close enough to see that all of them were heavily armed. They didn't really move, just stood there, watching me as my vehicle disappeared over the horizon. The figures got smaller and smaller until they faded from my sight. I contacted authorities shortly after, and they went to check it out. They found the gas station, and it was in fact abandoned. The place looked suspicious, and it turns out it wasn't even a functioning gas station. The pumps were broken and the shop was empty. The police suspected it to be a drug trafficking, smuggling outpost for people bringing in illegal packages over the border and into the U.S. It was a little far north, but it made sense. They passed word to Border Patrol, and that was the last I ever heard of it. I'll never know what would have happened to me had I gotten out of my car that night. Listen, when something gives you chills, or a nervous feeling in the pit of your gut, never ignore it. It could very well save your life one day.